While you're rocking with us at Toxic Radio, don't forget to check us out on social media.
I want details, and I want them right now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Now you're talking, brother.
Chat with us, keep up on news. Just don't make it weird. Don't be a stalker. Don't be that guy.
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Toxic Radio. Get infected.
Master, dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
Hey, buddy. Rah. Hey, man, that's a sweet heavy metal happy hour t-shirt. Where'd you pick that up?
Thanks, dude. I got it at the Toxic Radio shop.
Toxic Radio has a shop?
Yeah, dude. It's in the app or online at toxicradio.net.
That is sweet.
Yeah, and I also got a rockin' Toxic Radio hoodie and a Red Band Underground shirt. Dude, I'm gonna look so rockin' at the party tomorrow.
Well, I think you look pretty now.
Oh, wait, what?
The Toxic Radio shop is a place to get all your Toxic Radio gear. Shirts, hoodies, stickers. Find it at toxicradio.net or on the app. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. Hey, where are you going, man?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is Friday. That means it's time for your favorite Birds podcast, Birds Deep. I'm here, the Godfrey, THEEGODFREY, and to my right is the man, Gene, from Wire to Wire, taking it deep. Both have our own show, Wednesday, 8:30 to 10, Thursday, 6 to 7. We're here to talk Eagles for you because we felt like this is needed. And, we're talking about the Eagles-Chiefs. What happened last week? We got a lot on the docket for you, right, Gene?
Damn right. So, I need a nickname though. Like, I need you have like a nice, cool intro name, and like even on my show, like there's College Cottrell, Scholastic Shallot. Like, I need y'all to work on that.
I can don you Mean Gene right now. I mean,
Mean.
I know it. I could go with Mean Gene, but I thought that I didn't want to do that without your permission. The guys in the booth seem they approve Mean Gene. Okay, so Mean Gene it is. So to my right, Mean Gene. Walzak.
I'm with it. Walzak.
You got it. Mean Gene Okerlund use the full name, so you have to use the full
right.
name.
I'm with it.
So, all right, so we got that going. And he has been donned a nickname. Episode 3, week 6, or is it 5 in the NFL? Or week 6, right?
Well, the Eagles are 1-3.
Yeah, so week 5.
So that'd be week 5.
Week 5 of 17 games. So Eagles.
I love you, Godfrey.
Yeah. Something like that. Thank you.
Let's roll, big dog. Let's roll. Got a round of applause already.
Yeah. It's nice. So last game, Eagles lost. We both predicted they were going to lose, right?
Correct.
We were hoping they would cover the spread. Didn't quite do that. Got close. What were your thoughts on the game?
I thought that the defense was paper mache. And I think that Jalen Hurts had a much better game, but as I'll get into with a couple numbers, I feel like he still missed a lot of really big throws. And then 3 touchdowns being called back due to, like I look at this Philadelphia Eagles team and I just see an undisciplined group.
Very undisciplined.
I see a very, very undisciplined team. And it's frustrating to watch having 3 penalties called back, 3 touchdowns called back. One of them, I felt like Devontae Smith reestablished for that touchdown, but that's not for here nor there.
That brings me into a point, and that made me think of it, and I know this really doesn't apply, what I'm about to say, to that specific play, but I do feel like Devontae Smith's still adjusting to the NFL, and I have seen him progressively adjust by each game, in my opinion. However, I want to see more physicality out of the Eagles receivers, minus the tight ends, minus Dallas Goedert. And what I mean is, I want to see these guys, boxing out for the ball, going back to the ball, getting more physical. and they're not going to win every battle. I get that, but I see Quez Watkins on the floor all the time at the end of the play.
Well,
Like, I don't know.
You're not going to see that because that's not how they were built.
Correct.
They're built as a bunch of speed guys. They're built as a replica of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's exactly what Howie Roseman did. They wanted speed, speed, and speed.
But Tyreek Hill is speedy, but he is physical as well. I think his physicality is underrated as a player because he's smaller.
100%.
And I'm not saying that Devontae Smith's got to be out there like Megatron throwing people around.
He won't be. He's 176.
He won't be. But I do want to see them, when I mean physical, I want to see them be a little bit more physical off the ball. I don't expect them to be throwing people around. Like, I know we got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside as like a
he's
designated
the best
blocker.
blocking wide receiver, right?
Oh, my God. If they had if they had a scheme that fit that kind of shit, maybe that would matter. But they're not the 49ers, they're not the Patriots who they got Kendrick Bourne, even though he caught a couple balls because he could block well, right? But
you know who else blocks well? Deebo Samuel. And Deebo Samuel catches footballs and scores touchdowns.
And he gets
physical
yards
wide
after the
receiver.
catch.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear that blocking wide receivers. You know who else blocks well? Mac Hollins. He's a great special teamers.
Green Gene. That's what they want to. That's what Brad Huber says, who's a Patriots fan. Thanks for tuning in, even though we're going birds deep tonight. Not Pats deep. Not Pats deep tonight. But we will. Pats are another story. Maybe you should start a Pats deep podcast there, Brad. But anyway, Brad is our toxic super fan. Yeah, I mean, Jalen. You were talking about Jalen Hurts, what he did well and didn't do well, and what do you feel that he did well?
So I think he moved the ball up and down the field. He made some real big time throws. He threw the ball over the top. He threw the ball over the middle. He got his tight ends involved. They were the positives. He didn't go one read and out. Now there was some negatives.
He did get rid of the ball quick, which I like. There was a lot of plays where he got rid of the ball in like 2 seconds, which I think is a positive. And when I mean rid of it, like
that to me is play design.
Right.
That is a testament to Nick Sirianni, who's getting a lot of heat after this game. But that's a testament to play design.
I mean, he should get heat, but he was better than the game before if I'm looking at the overall coaching performance. I mean, it can't
get worse.
Can't get worse. So, I mean, I saw some progression from there. He's a young coach. There was definitely going to be a bell curve with.
He really does say some dumb shit, though, right?
He does, but we all knew that was going to happen when we started talking about horse and paper, rock, scissors. So.
my biggest problem with it is when he said Jalen Hurts played one of the best games he's ever seen a quarterback play on a loss.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
You know, he had 39 QBR.
Was that
his QBR was 39
last game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my thing with coaching in general. There's very few coaches out there that are willing to call their quarterback out. Bruce Arians will, Belichick will,
100%.
and I think that being coached hard is valuable, and they shouldn't just pump him up full of positivity when he doesn't deserve it, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't play well. I do think he did those things well that you said. There's some things though that he's got to correct, and I don't know if that's going to come with more snaps, more games. But you can't miss wide open receivers. The throw to Zach Ertz in the beginning of the game is one that comes to mind. When you're going to go toe to toe with a team like the Chiefs, you can't be taking field goals, kicking field goals, and not scoring touchdowns when you get in the red zone. That's the mark of a good team, and good teams take advantage of mistakes. And I don't see that he's gotten to the point where he's going to take advantage of a mistake. He was wide open. That's an easy throw, I think, for most starting quarterbacks, if all starting quarterbacks. And I see some throws like that, and I'm just like, okay, I've seen him throw the ball better game over game, but those are ones where I feel like I watched the progression of the play and I don't see him identifying as quickly as he should, but he did do that better from Dallas to KC. Okay, so I did see an improvement there, getting rid of the ball quick. I feel like the reason why I talk about the physicality of the receivers and Devontae Smith did a better job, I need some better separation. I mean, Dallas Goedert's getting the separation. Devontae Smith is Jalen Rigger. That's a whole nother story. But, I mean...
Jalen Rigger needs to stop starting on this team.
Well, who do you start in front of him?
You have to start Quez Watkins.
Okay, fair enough.
He has to stop starting on the team.
I'm just going to grab that by the shaft real quick. All right. So, he has to... I mean, listen, I'm open to all options at this point. There's no one that's safe in the starting lineup. I mean, there was some sloppy play, right? And I don't think this lends to what we're going to talk about later with the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense can't be that kind of defense because they're not the type of team right now that are going to go out and score in like 52 seconds like the Chiefs. They don't. They don't generate offense that quickly. They're not going down the field quick. They're not hitting a big play yet. They haven't developed that. If they develop that, who knows? But right now, you don't have that luxury. And for your team to just play that kind of defense, not put pressure on the quarterback, you got to generate turnovers. And there was a couple plays where, one play specifically, where he got lucky, and I believe it was Budda Baker almost picked off. Was it Budda Baker? Yeah, I think he almost picked off the ball, but it got trapped.
Budda Baker's on Arizona. You mean Tyrann Mathieu?
No, there's another back, but it doesn't matter. It was the throw where he just threw it up, and it ended up being, a trapped ball. But it was a ball that he should have just threw away instead of throwing it into a crowd. And those are the kind of mistakes that happen.
Oh, you're talking about the interception that got called back to the ground.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that kind of decision can't happen.
That was terrible. Can't do that.
Yeah, and
so there's a lot that you just talked about. Let's slow it down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about Hurts more, or you want to talk about the defense?
Let's go on Hurts.
Okay. So Jalen Hurts, you said he looked better versus Kansas City than he looked versus Dallas. You're right. He had a QBR of 9 versus Dallas. Dallas is a way better defense.
I mean, the bar is
but he had a better QBR versus San Fran and a better QBR versus Atlanta than he did in this past game versus the Chiefs. Yet people will say this Chiefs game was his best game. I completely disagree. He had a decent game, and it's growing pains for a young quarterback.
I don't disagree with you.
What I seen a horrid Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Horrible defense.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
The Eagles didn't punt once the whole game. Their punter just got paid to be there.
That's why QBR exists, right? Because the stats can get you in trouble by themselves.
Absolutely.
And to me, 400 yards, when you're the stat box reader and you're not watching the game, you're going to say, oh, you had a great game. No. A lot of that was garbage time touchdowns. They got up by 2 scores. And at a certain point, once you concede, and I know sometimes there are penalties that might have been BS, but when you concede 12 total points because you went from touchdown to field goal 3 times, you're not going to win that game. And that just makes the distance wider. And then Tariq Hill just decided, I'm going to go into video game mode and score touchdowns. Thank you, Tariq, for sinking my fantasy team because I ended up playing against the
Thank you for helping my fantasy team.
Yeah, well, it didn't help mine. Fucking rolled me. But, yeah, that was horrible for me. Guy had Cordell Patterson this past weekend and Tariq Hill.
Bro, if you have a guy in your league that was starting Cordell Patterson this week, just let him know he won't be there in the playoffs because he's not really smart. He got lucky as hell, and that'll be that.
He did get lucky, but it's a dynasty league, so I guess maybe that's why. But I'm not starting him. But yeah, you're right when you're saying about Jalen and his QBR. I feel like he played better.
So what would you grade the game
for Jalen or the team?
For Jalen,
I would give him a C-.
I think that's too low.
Think it's too low?
Like Nick Sirianni is talking like an A+ game. I think it was a B- game. I think the Dallas game was a F, maybe a D+ or D-. I think the San Fran game might have been a B+. I think the Atlanta game was an A.
Yeah.
So like I look at him as B- that game.
Yeah, well, my
C- is a little bit too harsh, bro.
You talk about how the KC defense is a horrible defense.
They stink.
Well, this week, and we're going to get into this later after we talk about the Eagles defense. The Carolina defense, decent defense, 14 sacks.
It is.
Second in the league.
Ryan Burns, Jeremy Chin, they got a solid group.
And they disguise their scheme very well. And it gets Eric Burns free a lot. He gets
Brian Burns?
Brian Burns.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
I know.
The name's right.
Eric Burns, Brian Burns. I think that's like a
Montgomery Burns.
Oh, that was a baseball player. Yeah, Eric Burns.
Montgomery Burns.
Yeah, Montgomery's not rushing anybody.
Right.
So, on to the defense of that game.
So, Darius Slay. I'm going to start with Darius Slay.
Yeah, this is interesting. There was a whole
Darius
back and forth.
So, he got a lot of people adding him because Tyreek Hill had a big game. So, they assumed that the reason that Tyreek Hill had a big game was because Darius Slay didn't play a good game. So, the times they were lined up versus each other, Tyreek Hill had 1 catch for 15 yards. So Darius Slay put, in my 9 years in the NFL, only 2 wide receivers had 100 on me. Stop playing on my name. So Glenn Macnow replied to that tweet. Glenn Macnow's a Eagles reporter. He's also a radio host.
The Prof is his nickname.
Called him the Byron Maxwell of Namdi Asamoah.
Harsh.
Very harsh. So I think that. So like, my question would be, what side are you on? So like, Darius Slay responding goes, "What the hell you mean by that?" Glenn Mack now said, "You shouldn't be talking about your stats at all when another team dropped 40 on you." What side would you tend to lay on here?
Oh, man, I almost want to be Switzerland because I think he's right in the last comment, the Byron Maxwell of Namdi Aswans. I don't think he's correct. Glenn Mack now. I do think that, when you're a corner, you're going to get bad games and good games. Even when you're a good corner, even your best corners get burnt sometimes. And that's not the case what we're talking about here. He's in the wrong type of defense, right?
100%.
He's a press corner, and they're playing soft zone, too deep. They're hanging him out there to dry. They're not using him to his talents. And this is the biggest pet peeve of mine in football is when a coach believes more in the system and doesn't cater to the system or the players to the scheme. And if you got a press coverage corner, let him press. You know what I mean? But these guys seem like
a man-to-man corner. He's been a man-to-man corner his entire career. You're putting him in a soft zone defense. And I will get into Jonathan Gannon next. I just wanted to bring up the Slay comments because I feel like, and this is just me kind of really, and I'm looking in the camera for this one, you cannot be a superstar in the city. Eagles beat writers and Philadelphia beat writers will kill you, and they will run you out of town. They almost did it to Jimmy Rollins. They did it to Carson Wentz. They're trying to do it to Darius Slay. They're doing it to Fletcher Cox. Guys, I'm one of Fletcher Cox's biggest haters. I will tell you right now, you can't have 0 stats on the season. But these beat writers are driving me nuts.
I think
with the things they say.
I think the Fletcher Cox thing has been overplayed. I mean, I think he's just aging. I don't think he's horrible, and I don't think the defense is putting him in a good position to be able to take advantage of his talents either. I mean, if you're playing 2D safety, I mean, are they really scared of your pass rush? I mean, outside of Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, I mean, he's getting in there a little bit. But Derek Barnett's a walking penalty. I mean, what?
Undisciplined.
It's undisciplined, right? So he's not what he used to be, but he's still serviceable, and they're not the 3-4 scheme.
You talking about Mike's or Fletcher?
I'm talking about Fletcher.
No, Laura put poor Cox on the line.
Oh, Mike.
The Birds D line.
Yeah, Mike's poor Cox. So
that was what I meant.
Nice.
Now they got the joke in the back. Thank God, Jesus.
Yeah.
Took them long enough. They sat there like I was saying nothing.
Yeah. Well, I do think you're right about Fletcher Cox. He's much maligned. And the sports writers do go a little heavy. I agree sometimes.
A little?
Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes it's not. More so not than is. But, I mean, do you think it's to that level, though, with these particular two athletes?
I think it's that level with Darius Slay. Darius Slay's been nothing but a good cornerback. Even last year when he was man-to-man versus the team's number 1 wide receiver every week in Jim Schwartz's defense, even the games he didn't have, like, great overall numbers where DK put up over 100 on him.
Amari Cooper got him for like 140.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
he didn't,
last
bro.
year, I'm telling you.
Listen to me.
You
look up Darius Slay's career versus Amari Cooper.
You're talking about 2020, right?
We're talking about any year they've ever played. I don't think Amari Cooper has 100 yards versus Darius Slay ever.
No, I think last year it was the
like
last
combined.
Game. No one watched that game because we were so done by then. That was the game in Dallas, I believe. I'm pretty sure, but I still don't think he's a bad corner for that. I'm just saying every corner doesn't pitch a shutout every game. They're like pitchers in my mind in that position, and sometimes you're going to, sometimes you're not.
I just at the end of the day, I think the Eagles beat writers are driving athletes to craziness, and like people don't want to come here to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, but don't you get that in New York?
You do.
I mean, you get that in L.A., right? Well, kind of L.A.
No.
L.A.'s kind of
LA
like
doesn't give a shit.
A fake football city, right? Okay, so you don't get that in L.A., but do you get that in
New York, Philly,
Chicago? You get that?
New York, Philly, Boston. That's it.
Chicago's pretty rough market. You don't think so?
They love their athletes in Chicago.
Yeah, but they'll roast you too.
They'll roast the coaches.
Yeah, Amari Cooper went for 121 on the December 27th game. His
stats are not the same thing as going up against Darius Slay.
He was in that game. I mean, he got him. I listen. Amari Cooper seems to just do it to us every now and then when he's not hurt. But everybody was no one liked Jim Schwartz's defenses last year, and this is worse.
Oh, way worse. I'll get into Jonathan Gannon. Nick Sirianni ripped Jonathan Gannon, and it's all but confirmed. Like there's not like I wasn't in the meeting,
But confirm how. Tell the listeners.
So, I'll pull up the whole story for you. Give me a second.
What I mean is like, it's not a direct quote, but it's sources saying this is was said in the meeting, correct?
They asked Nick Sirianni about him ripping him, saying that Jonathan Gann was running like a toothless defense, not using their stars, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay. And they asked him about this report, and instead of denying it and sticking up for his coach, what he said was there was a lot of tough talks to have in that defensive room. A lot of tough talks to have in that defensive room.
Kind of toothless like the air conditioning here, right? It's like,
God. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm fat, so
Mike, call the landlord. What the fuck?
But at the end of the day, we have to 100% know that this team's defense cannot continue to play soft, bend but don't break, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, soft zone defense, too deep high. They're not stopping the run. Yeah, they got to run blitzes. Brandon Graham is not starting this week. Brandon Graham's not going to start for the rest of the season. So think of it this way, okay? If he was your best run defender, Javon Hargraves rushed the passer. Yeah. Fletcher Cox rushed the passer. Derek Barnett rushed the passer. Josh Sweat rushed the passer. Brandon Graham
what about our linebackers?
What linebackers? They don't value those positions.
Alex Singleton is awesome.
It's a special teamer.
Yeah, he gets a lot of his tackles on the back end of the play, folks. Just so you know that. And if you look at the stat sheet. Am I wrong in saying that? Like it's like catch-up tackles, right? Like, the guy's past him and he's tackling him after they gotten through the second level. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's not your answer.
He was a lot better last year when he had a direction to go.
Yeah.
Alex Singleton's a see-ball, get-ball type linebacker. He's not a read linebacker. In zone, he has to read the play. In man, he's a see-ball, get-ball guy.
Yeah, and the
big difference.
Problem is you can double Fletcher Cox, and you can not have to pay the price for that because we don't have like a Leonard Floyd playing behind him or someone like that.
I mean, Javon Hargraves put his ass off.
Yes, but I'm saying you could double him too. I mean,
you can't double both of them.
Yeah, well, I'm talking. They're not always in there together, right? They rotate 4 or 5. What about that draft pick that Howie made in the 3rd round? Is that guy really showing up?
Oh, no.
Okay,
he's not.
I'm not surprised.
Yep. Not yet.
Yeah, well, maybe in like 4 years.
You're talking about T-Rex?
Yeah, that should be a minus 5 points on your draft board for him when the guy's named T-Rex and he's playing D-tackle. You should be like, why did they call him T-Rex?
Yep.
It's Jesus Christ.
He has really short arms. That's FYI for anyone listening at home. It's like the worst thing you can have for a defensive lineman. Man, short arms.
Yeah, because you're gonna get manhandled. So that's pretty much it for that Chiefs-Eagles game, right? I mean, I never thought they were gonna win it. I mean, they had a shot to compete, but I just didn't think they were gonna win it because they didn't have the firepower, and they're just letting Patrick Mahomes have his way.
I got to give the only credit I'll give to Nick Sirianni is it really looked like he schemed open players, and I think that's super important to see that. So you mentioned it earlier when Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, on a 3-step drop, on a 5-step drop, when he's throwing it on the break. That is scheme. That means your scheme is working. If you're watching at home, you don't understand what's going on. When a quarterback drops back and just throws the ball on his 5th step, on his 3rd step, that means he's throwing the ball to his first read, and the scheme is working. If a quarterback drops back on his 5th step, he's hesitant, he's going through his progressions. Jalen Hurts' biggest problem is he's been dropping back 5 steps, looking at one progression, and then running. He looked a lot better this week for that. So let's get into Carolina versus the Eagles, and we'll kind of talk about what you expect from him this week.
Well, the segue to that, and you talked about scheme and scheming certain players in, and we put this as a poll question on our page. Gainwell versus Sanders going forward. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's getting closer to Gainwell, maybe getting more of a feature role than Sanders. And the reason why I say that is
he's more shorthanded.
He is more shorthanded. He's better at catching the ball in the backfield. Now, if you think about the Colts offense, Sirianni was there helping Reich out. I don't know what plays he was calling. He definitely wasn't scheming, but we'll say he is. Nyheim Hines had a role like that. Now, he's better than Nyheim Hines. The reason why I bring that up is, they have Jonathan Taylor. They had Nyheim Hines. Jonathan Taylor didn't really go off till the end of the season, but Nyheim Hines was catching the ball in the backfield, more short-handed, and they would let him run the ball sometimes. I think Gainwell is better than Nyheim Hines. It's from what I've seen so far.
He's a better runner.
Better runner. But at the same time, Miles Sanders, he did okay, but it just seems like he's not doing anything with his opportunities.
He's not getting enough opportunities.
You don't
Look, I agree that Gainwell will surpass Miles Sanders probably next year instead of this year. I agree with that. I still think that running the ball to him 7 times instead of 3 is still a joke.
Yeah, and well, that's what they need to do. I think if you're going to build this offense out, people might disagree with me here because I know we have Devontae Smith. I feel like you got to scheme these 2 running backs, and you got to scheme Dallas Goedert, and then things should open up for Devontae Smith a little bit more. When they're doing that, I don't think they're doing that right now as much as they should be.
They're not.
Dallas Goedert is really good at blocking and yards after the catch. That's never been Ertz's forte. He's still serviceable. He's still a receiving weapon. I'm not saying that he's not, but these are the 3 guys I think that they got to utilize more in this offense. And I do think Sanders should be utilized more, but I think Gainwell had a better camp than Sanders, and we heard that reporting out of camp. And I just think that you got to scheme him in there more because he's playing hot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I mean,
I don't disagree with any of your take. I don't think it's fair to Miles Sanders to not give him any opportunities to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does get him, he's running for over 5 yards a carry, and then just say, "Oh well, Gainwell's just going to be the guy."
Does it seem
Run
like
him 15 to 20 times and see what he does.
They're trying to bump him to the outside too, right? It feels like I'm seeing outside runs. Why don't we have some inside runs in between the guard and the tackle? And I just feel like we're trying to go to the edge too often.
The Eagles' defense is built to run through the edge. I mean, Eagles' offense is built to run through the edge. Jason Kelsey's one of the best pulling centers in the league.
Sure, I agree.
You also have 3. You had 4 backups starting last week. This week you'll have 3. Mailata will be back. He could be on the right side, though. You don't know what's going on. Like, Dickerson's going to be your starter at this point. You got to understand that he's going to play.
Yeah, no
but
choice.
their offense is built to move the ball to the outside because they have very agile offensive linemen.
Dickerson didn't have much of he had no training camp, right?
He tore his ACL.
He's coming off an injury.
Correct.
Gotcha. So, on to the next one. Panthers, Eagles.
Okay.
Is this a winnable game?
Yeah, of course it is. 3-point spread. No McCaffrey. Sam Darnold's not Brett Favre. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's Sam Darnold.
How about the yokels on the local sports talk radio talking about, we should have traded for Darnold? Like, did you?
Anybody says that's an idiot.
I agree. Anybody says that is an idiot. He hasn't played very good teams. Not taking anything away from Darnold. You still got to play who's on the schedule. But Jalen Hurts has had to play higher quality opponents. The thing that worries me about the Panthers, though, isn't their offense; it's their defense. I mean, that's going to be. I think that's the toughest defensive assignment yet for Jalen Hurts.
No.
So you think that
San Fran's defense is better and Dallas's defense is better?
Yeah, but San Fran's not the same team it was 2 years ago. I mean,
their
Bosa's
defense
great.
still has Fred Warner. Their defense still has Bosa. Their defense is not. No, there's no way you're going to tell me that San Fran.
They were better when they had Armstead.
San Fran's defense was shutting down Russell Wilson and Seattle for the first half of that game. I'm sorry, the Rams. Wait, Seattle.
Wait,
they're shutting down Seattle for the first half of that game, and then they had to throw Trey Lance in there, and he wasn't ready.
Trey Lance wasn't ready. Well, everybody knew that was going to happen, right? I mean, most people. He had played for a year, and they're throwing him in there. I think they're making a mistake. I mean, if Jimmy G's really
nothing
hurt,
they can do. Jimmy G's not playing this week.
Right. I think they were going to try to press him in before that. I mean, I just think that's definitely a guy that you got to sit and have learn. But, hey, we're going to see what he's made of. I mean, Trey Lance has not played a lot of college games.
No, he hasn't.
So, but back to the Eagles, Panthers. I mean, I think it's their best defense they've faced. I think they're better than the 49ers. I think that you got a slight edge on them, but, we can agree to disagree.
They're different defense than the 49ers.
True.
And Dallas has played their ass off. Like, we can't say whatever you want, but Diggs has to be number 1 cornerback in the league right now.
I begrudgingly admit that, but it's true. It's true. Yeah, why are people throwing at him constantly? I don't understand. If I'm throwing at the other crappy cornerbacks on the other side of that defense, but whatever. Let's throw at Diggs. He's got 1 every game so far, right?
Got more than 1 every game.
Yeah, he had 2 in the 1 game.
He's 2 in 2 games.
Yeah, this he's pretty good. So
he's more interceptions than the Eagles do by himself.
Well, I mean, Eric Wilson. I thought that was kind of lucky, but you're great. Good job.
It was a good play.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like right here. It's like, hey.
So McCaffrey's probably out. Sam Darnold is not elite quarterback, to say the least. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are average weapons at best.
DJ Moore's had a good start to the
No,
season.
they're good. They're good wide receivers, but like, all right. So if
Robbie
you
Anderson has a disappointing start so far.
that's fair. That's fair. But if you say average would be 10 to 20, right?
Okay.
Would you say their weapons are in the top 10 in the league?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so they'd be average, right? They're not below average.
Yeah,
they're not 11 through.
they're
They're
right
not
around
21
there.
through 30, right?
Yeah, they're right around there. I mean, well, Robbie Anderson is so back and forth every week. I expected a better season out of him.
Without Christian McCaffrey, their weapons are average at best.
Yeah.
Okay, so
DJ Moore actually surprising me. Actually, I thought he would not be as good as he is. So I thought is
Sam
below average.
Darnold's notoriously struggled against zone defense.
Mm-hmm.
He has, notoriously.
Well, the Eagles got to play zone on the field and not in the stands, though. The safeties are getting popcorn. They're so far back.
They can't play 15, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You're absolutely right.
I don't care who the quarterback is. If you're just going to give the middle of the field up like that, they're just going to throw it to DJ Moore all day long. I mean, it's what do you do? I don't know, man.
You got to be more aggressive. And I think they
Blitz.
will be.
They
after
have
this.
to blitz.
I think after letting 42 points up and 40 points up the last 2 weeks, I think you'll see a more aggressive Eagles defense this week. And Chuba Hubbard doesn't scare me. Chuba Hubbard.
No, he's a young guy. It doesn't scare me either. Here's the thing about the Eagles defense, which I don't get. Forget scheme, forget this. They're playing scared with their calls. You have nothing to lose. No one expects it. The Eagles have nothing to lose.
Their defense, you're talking about?
Yeah,
yes, I agree with you.
They have nothing to lose. People do not expect you to win a lot of games this year. Fucking blitz. Throw the kitchen sink at them, and if they burn you, they burn you.
I never agree with that sentiment that they have nothing to lose. Everyone's got a job to lose in the NFL.
But no one's the expectations are that they're gonna not be a good team. They're gonna be an average team at best. That's the expectation.
That's fair.
So if you're gonna sit there and play a conservative defense, you're not gonna win. So just be aggressive. You might as well go out swinging at that point. And I just don't understand why you're not going to do that, especially with a quarterback like Sam Darnold, because maybe you get him to throw the ball out hot, and then a Darius Slay picks it off, or a cornerback picks it off because the ball's coming out hot, he's throwing it too early, and you could jump the route. We need to get blitzes help give cornerbacks opportunity to what? Intercept the ball, create turnovers.
We were told all offseason how this defense was going to be aggressive, opportunistic, go after the ball, create turnovers. And that's what excited me.
Yeah,
I've seen none of that.
None of that. It's pedestrian, and it's below average. And I know Brandon Graham was a big loss, but you can't sit here and tell me that was the Achilles heel of the whole defense.
So the defense was structured around rushing 4 because they have a elite run stopper in Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. What ends up happening now is that Brandon Graham's not there. You have a bunch of pass rushers, a bunch of speed rushers with Sweat, Barnett, that teams are able to run the ball versus the Eagles at ease. The Chiefs ran for 200 yards. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't Christian McCaffrey. But we're lucky Christian McCaffrey's not playing.
We are. He has trouble when he gets in between the 10, but that wouldn't matter for us. He would get in anyway. But he's a hell of a back. He can catch the ball, and Matt Rule, I think, is a great coach. I mean, so far, I feel like he's doing a good job with what he has so far.
Matt Rule is a very good coach, from Temple to Baylor to now Carolina.
He's turning around every program that he's touched.
100%.
So you got to give credence to a guy like that. But so how are the Eagles going to attack these guys offensively?
I mean, what do I sound like a broken record?
You gonna say run the ball?
They got to run the fucking ball.
For sure.
They have to run the ball. Listen, the Panthers' skill, their best attribute is they can rush the passer, and they're opportunistic on defense.
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick,
Hassan Reddick, hell of a player.
Yeah, of course.
And
another Temple guy.
Eric Burns, not.
Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. God damn it.
Brian Burns is a man, bro. You should know who he is.
Yeah, he's great.
It's like saying Bill Donald instead of Aaron.
Bill Donald was a great tackle in the 70s. Just kidding. I'm pretty sure he existed as like a backup. Yeah, I agree that they got to run the ball. I want to see them get Goddard more involved. I feel like the way that they attack the quarterback and disguise their defense, I feel like Goddard could chip block, leak out over the middle. And I saw more of that against KC. KC's a softer defense, obviously, but they need to get Goddard involved in moving the sticks and converting the third downs. Short-handed, he's a big body, and that a tight end, especially a big body tight end that could catch, is a young quarterback's best friend. Don't you see that quite often when a young quarterback comes in? Usually, not all the time, they gravitate toward what? The tight end, right?
Yes.
We need to see that more. Help him out. You got 2 tight ends that are good. That could catch the ball.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with you.
It's just, Nick Sirianni's disagreeing with me.
Nick Sirianni, yes, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you got to attack it. You're gonna have to convert the third downs. You're gonna have to control the clock. I don't think this is a dynamic offense you're playing against, but
you're not, and you're gonna catch a break because Shaq Thompson's out too.
That's huge. That's really huge. So, what do the defense has to do we kind of talked about it earlier, but to stop,
be aggressive, create turnovers.
Sam
Darnold will see ghosts.
He's been rushing his balls off. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns.
Be aggressive.
He's coming for Cam Newton's record. You heard it here first. Just
Stop
kidding.
It.
Sarcastic.
Be aggressive. Like I feel like it needs to be like a cheerleader. Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
All right. So if outside of that, they're going to do that. The defense, are they going to adjust? Is Nick Gannon going to stubbornly stick to his
Can you
scheme?
stop screwing these names up?
Who? Nick Gannon? Oh,
Jonathan Gannon, Nick Sirianni.
He doesn't even deserve a real name. Jonathan Gannon, Nick Gannon. The guy that coaches the Eagles defense, is he going to be stubborn and stick to his scheme? If he does, he's going to get fired. I think he's going to get the Dear John letter.
Sirianni is not going to play. Sirianni is not going to play games with his opportunity. To hear reports already that he was in his defensive coordinator's face right away is good news to me.
That is, because we didn't talk about this. I wanted to bring this up, and we've been hearing this a lot. Jeffrey Lurie, Harry Rosen.
The meddling.
The meddling. So I know you were talking about that, and a lot of people were saying that, there's a lot of pressure from the top for Nick Sirianni to pass more. Are you buying into that?
100% buying into that.
Okay. Because there's a school out there that doesn't buy into that.
This organization's ran by a weasel nerd, Howie Roseman, and Jeffrey Lurie, that are playing fantasy football with the Eagles, and it's very obvious that they stick their nose in everybody's business. I think the only thing Chip Kelly did that was good was banish that man to the broom closet and get him out of the way. He's meddling. He's meddling, bro.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that. I'm not one to kind of really buy into that, but how can I not at this point, right?
You hire 2 yes men, and then Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl, drops his balls, and goes, "I'm not doing what you tell me to do anymore." And then you fire him. You hire another yes man.
When Doug got hired, they said he was hiring a yes man then too. No one was thrilled about the Doug Peterson hire. I was okay with it, but a lot of people were not. They did not want that. The majority of the fans were not like, "Yes, you got Doug. That's who we wanted."
How about you think of it this way? Doug Peterson. They wanted to fire Frank Reich after 2016?
Did they?
Yes.
Well, that looks bad now that they won a Super Bowl next year, right? But yeah, I don't know why that's meddling right there. You can't fire the guy after the first year.
They wanted to fire Frank Reich after 2016.
So do you think the meddling is so bad that the Eagles have now become a different version of the Dallas Cowboys? And what I mean here, follow me on this.
Jerry Jones has learned to stop meddling.
Has he?
Yes.
I don't know about that, man.
Bro, look at their draft.
Their draft is good.
Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb. They've done well.
We've seen talented Cowboys teams before that haven't done well, though. I'm not saying they're not a good team this year, but what I'm saying is his son has gotten more involved because Jerry Jones is older. But one thing that is consistent outside of the draft, and I'm fearing this becomes the Eagles, is they will not get a head coach that has a strong backbone. They haven't had one forever. Mike McCarthy is not a strong backbone coach. I'm not impressed by Mike McCarthy. I know he's got a ring, but that doesn't mean shit to me.
He's a quarterback guru.
He's probably
the best quarterback guru in the league.
So you think that they brought him in for Dak?
He's done a hell of a job with him.
I think if Mike McCarthy doesn't...
I'll bet you this. Kellen Moore will be the next head coach of that team.
Yeah, I could see that. 100%.
And I think if McCarthy doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, they will fire him and make Kellen Moore the head coach.
Or they make Dan Quinn the head coach.
No, Dan Quinn's going to stay on the defense coordinator. He's proven not to be a good head coach.
We did get to the Super Bowl, right? Is that all Kyle Shanahan?
I think so. Matt Ryan won MVP that year.
It's true. I always forget that he actually won MVP.
Yes.
It's kind of weird to me, but he did. He did. And
they weren't some defensive juggernaut, and that's what he was known for.
Yeah, well, that's because he came from the Legion of Boom, and everybody thought that was going to follow him. But do you have the personnel to be the Legion of Boom when he was there? Probably not.
Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, they had a solid team.
Yeah, not as good as that Seahawks team, but they hit on late round draft.
Dallas
picks.
had a embarrassingly bad defense last year, right?
Yeah,
they look better this year.
I mean, no doubt. I have to give that to him. I mean, that Panthers game, though, the Cowboys game, Cowboys, I'm not saying didn't deserve to win it, but there was a lot of suspect calls in that game.
100%, but I don't think the game was ever in jeopardy of losing it.
No, I don't think so either.
For Dallas. Like, the Panthers came back and made it cute late. They were down, 36-19 going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah. And I do see Zach has progressed as a quarterback, or Dak has progressed as a quarterback. And, we'll see if McCarthy is the QB whisperer. I just think the expectations are high for any Cowboys coach, as you said, and that gets you canned. And what I fear is that the Eagles, I mean, if Sirianni, does he have a chance of getting canned after this year? Let's say they go 3-14.
Yes, because Howie Roseman, if he stops listening to Howie Roseman and what Howie Roseman wants to do, and he has the opportunity to fire them, and they have the opportunity to play charade and interview coaches and make themselves feel important, that's what they enjoy doing. Yeah. Jeffrey and Howie loved that shit. Hey, we're important. Look at us.
Makes you wonder, how did the Eagles squeeze out a Super Bowl that 2017 year? It was the football god smiled on the Eagles.
It's 100% what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's fluky. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. It was fluky, and I cherished it, and I always will. Love the parade. But a lot of Eagles fans thought if we make a tweak here, we can go back. I don't know. We'll see. I think Howie Roseman got lucky on a lot of parts. And the problem is, the reason why Howie Roseman needed a lot of one-year signs to hit that year and every year after that is because here's the thing. When you draft a first and second round player, hopefully, even if you're third round, you're hoping that you get at least an every game starter out of it, at the very least, right? Is that the floor?
Yes.
Right. And what don't we get? We don't get starters out of our picks.
You're not getting starters.
So what are we doing? We're building with late round picks.
And Howie loves to play pass the buck with the money.
And look at the Chiefs.
It's time to pay the piper.
Look at the Chiefs. You know why the Chiefs are so effective? Tyreek Hill was a 5th round pick. Now there were some personal reasons that made him go that late, but 5th round pick. They make solid picks in the earlier rounds. Mahomes was someone that I didn't think he was going to be that coming out of college. Did you? Maybe you did. You're more of a college guy than I am, so maybe you thought he was. But
you couldn't see that coming out of college.
And he definitely saw something in that kid.
You know who his head coach was in college?
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals head coach.
Cliff Kingsbury.
So, to me, that's looking at the Eagles and going forward, I just hope that it doesn't become that, and it kind of makes me feel that way. Because for years, after Bill Parcells, what was the coaching tree for the Cowboys? Until now, Mike McCarthy's a little bit better, but he's not a strong-willed coach. Like, he's going to be in there like,
the clapper?
Yeah. He's going to be like, yes, Mr. Jones. Yes, Mr. Jones. The Eagles aren't going to get a strong-willed coach. Maybe that's why they got Sirianni. I was okay with the hire, but who's going to want to coach here if that keeps going on? That's a reputable coach. Anybody?
No.
Would Eric Bieniemy want to come here? Probably not. Andy's going to be like,
Eric Bieniemy here.
Yeah, no, Andy Reid will be like, Eric, no. Everybody was talking about last year about Eric Bieniemy should have been in Houston. Andy told him not to do it. Why would you want to go coach in Houston? Anyway, let's not get off track here. Let's go back to what we were talking about.
Eagles, Panthers.
So the spread is
Jordan Mailata will be back.
Yep.
Lane's probably going to be out still.
And
prayers up for Lane. I don't know what's going on in your life, man.
You said you heard.
Prayers up.
You said you might have heard some stuff, or speculation here.
Speculation is he's having a lot of pain from recovering injuries, and he might have some issue with narcotics.
Yeah, and he tries to play through it, so he might be in a Brett Favre type of situation.
Yes, correct. And he wants to. He's what I've heard is he's thinking about quitting football.
I mean, he might be in that space J.J. Watt was in 3 years ago after he had another injury that ended his season.
Andrew Luck,
yeah. I mean,
a lot of players takes a toll on you, and if you have plenty of money in a Super Bowl ring, why you keep doing it if you don't? If you're really damaging yourself lifelong, listen. All the respect in the world, Lane Johnson. I'll say a ton of prayers for him. I hope whatever he's going through, he gets better. But the truth is, I don't know how you can take that type of beating on your body, especially as many injuries he's had.
Quote Ricky Waters for who for what?
It's a different type of quote.
But it's the English applies, but it might not be the same.
Same good words, different meaning.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got to be asking himself that, right? I mean, for what, right? I mean, you could say the fans, but listen, football is a different sport. You feel like you're in a fucking train wreck, especially where you're in a position where there's guaranteed contact on every play. And D-line and O-line are those positions.
So it's good to have Mailata back. He'll be pushing some people around.
Yeah.
Do you think they move Dillard? Do you think they move Mailata to right tackle, or do you think they start or they sit Dillard?
I mean,
Nick Sirianni was asked about that today in the press conference. He said he will not give that away. You'll see Sunday for competitive advantage.
So wasn't Dillard hailed as having positional flexibility coming out of college?
No, he cannot play right tackle.
Oh, I know he can't.
He was the one that said no, he was not held as positional.
Okay. I know Landon Dickerson was that guy, but
Landon Dickerson is that guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would trust Mailata more at right tackle than I would Dillard, obviously.
Well, it would be Driscoll. So they would sit Dillard and start Driscoll again, who didn't play terrible last week.
So what about moving Mailata to the other side and keeping Dillard where he's at?
That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the question is, will you see Mailata at right tackle, which he played last year when Lane was hurt, after obviously Jack Driscoll went down, or will you see Mailata back at left tackle because you're paying him to be left tackle, and then you see Driscoll playing right tackle? So what are your thoughts? What do you think they should do? What do you think they're going to do?
I think they should put Mailata at right tackle.
We're talking about offensive linemen. I love it. Talk about the grit of the game.
You got to put Mailata at right tackle, and the reason why I like Mailata at right tackle is he has something that Andre Dillard has proven not to have: coachability. Okay, what I mean by that is I think Andre Dillard came in with a certain pedigree, right?
Yeah, he's the best pass blocking left tackle in the history of Big 12 football.
Right. But Big 12 football doesn't always translate to the NFL.
You're right. That's fair.
So Mailata's coming in raw completely. I mean, they did a really good job of coaching him up. And listen, I like a guy that's a student of the game, and I'm not saying Dillard's not, but how come Dillard hasn't been able to excel having more football experience than Mailata?
He didn't look bad the last 2 games at left tackle.
He has not.
That's why they're talking about doing this.
Why not leave him there? You know, I mean, that's what you drafted him for, depth, or to be a starter, actually, not depth. But now, you know, let him there, leave him in there. Let's see what he's made of, and let's put Jordan Mailata at right tackle. I mean, if Lane Johnson retires, you're going to have Jack Driscoll there the rest of the season? Worst case scenario, Lane Johnson's out the rest of the season. Jack Driscoll is your starting right tackle?
I think you're correct, and I think that's what you'll see. But you're paying Jordan Mailata to be your left tackle. And the left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line.
They also paid, Jason Peters extra money too. But
Jesus, don't get me started on that clown.
He's doing the same shit in Chicago too. It's hilarious.
Highway robbery. Guys been stealing money. Guys stole more money than Sam Bradford.
He should be wearing a Hamburglar costume, during Halloween.
It looks like it.
Yeah. He's got a sack of fucking money. And I can't, when they signed him in Chicago, I was like, what? Did they
Juan Castillo's there. That's why.
Oh, my God.
You know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Juan Castillo.
Is he the offensive line coach?
Yes.
Man, I still can't believe he was the defensive coordinator at one point. I still can't believe that. That makes me laugh so much, dude. I couldn't, how the fuck does that happen? Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. So, yeah, that's what needs to happen. I mean, do you think that Driscoll ends up starting, or do you think he's going to be on the bench as backup, just in case?
I think they'll start Mailata at right tackle. I think they'll start Dillard at left tackle. Landon Dickerson's going to play your right guard or left guard. Sorry, and because they moved him over to left guard after Saimalo got knocked out for the season. So Dickerson's now played right guard and left guard the last 2 games, and Dickerson looked way better on the left side last game.
I feel like if you hit pause on your Madden game and you make some substitutions to put Mailata in right tackle, he's gonna be rated higher than Jeff Driscoll. I'm just saying. Not saying
Jack Driscoll.
Jack Driscoll.
Bro, I'm telling you with names today, bro.
I know. I'm usually on with it.
Buy you some bourbon.
I had some bourbon before the show.
That may be why.
Yeah. Goddamn weed, bourbon, all that stuff. So I'm just using last names. Driscoll. He's a backup, and he's played better, but he's had bad games. I don't want him facing this defense.
I don't want him lined up against Brian Burns.
No,
not at all.
So if I'm a betting man and I got to take a shot, I'm taking my shot with Mailata right tackle. Does it have to?
I agree.
I mean, and if you got to run the ball, who are you relying on to get a push off the ball for the run more? Driscoll or Mailata?
Well, that's obvious.
Right, but we're talking
It's
at the
Driscoll or Dillard that you're asking a question about.
Well, how much of a drop off is there between if Dillard and Driscoll here?
Well, I think the drop off is you're taking your left tackle that played left tackle every single snap throughout preseason, training camp, regular season, and you're moving him to right tackle. So, like, all right, you want to use Madden rankings for fun?
Mailata's more athletic than all three of those guys, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's a rugby player.
right.
But if you want to use Madden rankings for fun, you would take Mailata, who's a 93 left tackle, and move him to right tackle and make him an 88.
You actually looked at that, huh? Wow.
I don't know. It's not
Oh.
really what he is.
Oh,
I think he's a good left tackle, a really good left tackle. My point is, you're going to drop him 5 or 6 points by moving him to the other side. He's not going to be as effective as he is on the left side.
yeah, I agree. But I like his athleticism that gives him flexibility. And if you didn't have that, I might feel different. I just feel like this guy has said, hey, I'm going to come into football, learn football from a rugby player. And he got a contract for left tackle. I'm just really impressed with the guy.
Dude, I love the kid.
I
love him. Nothing but smiles. All right, let's get into the offensive end. Talk about wide receivers matchup versus the Carolina Panthers and our tight end matchups. So I think the best matchup we're going to have is across the middle, knowing that Shaq Thompson isn't playing. So I want to run the ball up the middle, and I want to throw the ball to your favorite position, the tight ends. I want to throw the ball up the middle a ton to Ertz and Goddard.
The tight end.
I would throw the ball to the opposite side of where Jeremy Chin is every play. Jeremy Chin is a very, very, very aggressive safety that could take the ball away. Finished second in defensive rookie of the year last year. Second-year player, very, very good defender. So I would stay away from Jeremy Chin. I would throw the ball in the middle of the field, and I would take advantage of my tight ends.
Yeah, I want to see the Eagles. I think that's a solid plan. I want to see the Eagles run more screen passes. I want to see them take advantage of the over.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to see the Eagles take advantage of over pursuing. That's how a lot of people's play the Rams, and they take advantage of the
It's
over-pursuing.
perfect for this game, too, because you have a lot of athletic linemen.
Right.
Landon
exactly.
Dickerson's athletic. Jason Kelsey's athletic. Jordan Mailata's athletic. You have a lot of athletic linemen that you can run the screen with.
Now, I know Gainwell's been having a better receiving year so far than Miles Sanders, but both of them are more than capable of taking a screen pass to the house.
Yes, and the problem is Miles Sanders dropped a ton of screens last year, which is why, and thank God I'm starting to see motion out of the Eagles offense. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, the catch that Miles Sanders, it was the game before last, I believe it was a Cowboys game. He threw him a screen pass. It was Hurts, and Hurts threw it to him. And Sanders was all turned around. You could just tell he was out of position to catch the ball properly. And that's the problem with Sanders in catching the ball. I don't think he runs a good route. He's not catching the ball effectively.
He's not aware of when the ball's coming.
Not at all.
You're absolutely correct.
You saw that.
Godfrey, that was back-to-back phenomenal takes by you.
Yep.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Thank you.
Phenomenal takes.
Yeah. I just
run the screen pass, and Miles Sanders is not looking for the ball when he needs to.
He's definitely not. And that's the problem there is, he has the ability to run in space, make a play, but he's got to catch the ball first. It's almost that old analogy where you see the receiver is running before he catches the ball. That's what I feel like Miles Sanders is doing. He's running before he's actually catching the ball.
Yes.
Can't reverse that.
He's
Catch
trying
the
to
ball
make
first.
moves. He's trying to deke out defenders before he catches the ball.
He's thinking about making his first move before making his first catch.
Okay. Defensive side of the ball, what do you need to do to stop Sam Darnold and the Panthers' offense?
I really feel like I'm in a twilight zone answering a question about how to stop Sam Darnold. But, okay, let's do that. I mean, it's a legitimate question. It just feels weird because Sammy D was, fucked forever.
He's still not that good.
He's pretty serviceable, right? I mean, Matt Rule.
Is Matt Rule serviceable or is Sam Darnold serviceable?
Sam Darnold's serviceable.
I'm just asking.
I thought that was a wise pickup by them because there wasn't anybody really they wanted to spend the capital on to go after. Teddy, I think
nobody next year either.
I mean, that's true, but I do think Sam Darnold as a passer is a slight upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
I think Teddy Bridgewater is a very effective game manager. I know people hate that term, but he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. And they were looking to maybe expand the offense. You bring in Robbie Anderson, who played for Matt Rule at Temple. Sam Darnold played with Robbie Anderson. So I think
they have not had any connection this year.
They haven't.
None.
I'm afraid that happens this game.
So then you tell me what your prediction is on the game because we're going to get in these quotes in a minute. We're going to have a quote a week, and I want to give you a penny stack.
A penny stock? Yeah, let's do some penny stocks. Yeah.
Give me your prediction on the score. We'll do that first.
So I'm thinking. So Eagles are dogs by 3.
3 points.
It's a road game. Oh, man, I want to pick the Eagles. That's what my Eagles heart says. But I'm thinking it's 27-24 Panthers.
I'll go 31-23 Eagles.
Wow. We're going to have to get a turnover for that to happen.
I agree.
So
31-23 Eagles.
Miss Sammy D do for a turnover?
He only threw 2 last week.
He did.
Yeah. And then for your quote, give me your quote that we asked. So we're going to do this every week. We're going to do a sports quote that relates to the Eagles. Give me your quote and why it relates to the Eagles.
I was going to go with a different quote, but I changed it up. Sports do not build character. They reveal it. And the reason why I'm going with that is Eagles are coming off a 3-game losing streak. They're in the fire. This is what you see, what players are made out of when they're on a losing team. They are a losing team right now. So I want to see how their character is revealed. Do they fight? Do they fight harder? Do they keep getting back up? Or do they wilt like a dead flower? And that's what I feel like the Eagles need to do, and they're going to reveal it. I mean, this is a game where you got to come back. It's a winnable game. You scored some points. You're feeling confident. You can move the ball. How do you respond? 3 losses in a row? You just took a deep shit all over your defensive coordinator. So hopefully we see some different stuff. And I like that Nick Sirianni is cracking some heads.
Okay. So my quote is a quote that was made famous by Vince Lombardi, but it was first said by Red Sanders. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And how it relates to the Eagles is very simple. One of the biggest buffoon comments I've heard from Nick Sirianni was Jalen Hurts played one of the best games I've ever seen at quarterback. So Jalen Hurts went in their press conference and they asked him about that, and he goes, "We lost the game. We lost the game. I don't care about who played what or who played well. We lost the football game." If you're looking for something from Jalen Hurts to tell you he could be the guy, that's it. His Nick Saban-like mentality, his Lincoln Riley-like mentality, his winner-like mentality. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. Humility. I love that. And winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
I like that. And I like that you brought that up because very true. And I do like that the intangibles are present for Jalen Hurts. I just need those intangibles to be rolled into timely passing. The one thing, here's my measuring stick for a quarterback coming into a league. And Dak had this problem, and I don't know if he's there yet, but I think he's past there. What I worry about with a quarterback, any quarterback, is when they're down by 2 touchdowns, let's say 10 to 14 points, the defense knows you have to pass. You're up against the clock. You're only going to have so many possessions. How can a quarterback perform in that situation? Because in the NFL, you're going to get behind, and the great ones know how to come back, and those are the ones that play for years and become a Hall of Famer. So I know he has the fortitude and the heart to do it, but I want to see, does it match the physical skill? And I'm hoping, as an Eagles fan, that improves every week. So, he needs reps. Remember, he hasn't had a full season yet. He hasn't even had a half a season worth of starts.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is, guys, anybody listening, we're looking for a name for this. We're calling it Fool's Gold, Penny Stocks. I'm looking for a solid name. I'm not going to steal pigeons. I know a lot of people use that. Want to do something different, but something for a player that is being a bit overrated due to recent performance, and he's not that good. Similar to Fool's Gold. So we want something more green, more geared towards the birds. Winner wins a Birds Deep shirt when we get them. Give me yours for this week.
Now, this has to be Eagles related, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. I hope you're not giving me like a life-related one.
Well, I could.
Don't give me Ben Simmons.
We'll save that for taking a deep. Ben Simmons, please. That fucking guy. Anyway, for me, Greg Ward would be the Fool's Gold or the penny stock. Now, is he a nice player? Yeah. Is he a decent player for, I know him and Jalen Hurts have the Houston connection. Made a couple touchdown passes. They were garbage touchdowns, agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. Do not think that's going to be your possession receiver. Do not think, that's a long-term answer there. You need more production like that out of the other receivers. So to me, That's the penny stock right there.
My penny stock would be Nick Sirianni's play calling.
Mm.
I do not think it is I think that last week he looked really good. I think this week it could look even better. Don't buy into it yet. He just learned how to run motion. It's his first year calling plays. I think Jalen Hurts created a lot of plays with his feet, throwing the ball on the run. He threw a perfect ball to Devontae Smith on the sideline. That was one of the nicest plays I've seen in a long time. I think your penny stock would be Nick Sirianni's play calling. That's your fool's gold. I still think the Eagles win the game this week, though. I don't think Carolina's that good. I don't think they're a 3-1 team. I think they're a 3-2 team. I think the Eagles are a 2-3 team. So
they're
logic
sneaky,
tells me I don't think they'll be 4-1.
They're sneaky, but I felt like that last year a lot, and then it just seemed like they were in a lot of games. They, granted they didn't make the playoffs, but I feel like Matt Rule's teams are never completely out of it. His teams fight.
They're 3-1. They're not out of it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in a
I just don't think they're if you are predict it just for the fuck of it before we go off the air. Predict the Panthers record by the end of the year. Do you think it's going to be 11-5? Do you think it? I'm sorry, 11-6, 12-5, 10-7? What do you think?
I'm going to go 9-7. No, 9-8.
I think they're an 8-9 team.
Yeah,
9-8, 8-9
17 games, folks. 17 games. 9-8.
That's my point, though. So if they're 3-1, and they go 4-1. You think they're going to go 5 and no?
They got some defensive talent, though. I mean, they really do. I think Sam Darnold is enough to keep them competitive.
Yeah, but with Shaq Thompson out hurt,
Christian
McCaffrey out hurt, I don't think they're that good of a football team. Eagles win this game this week. Book it. Put your money on it, too. See, Brad Huber, I like it. Counterfeit green.
Counterfeit green. Okay.
I love that.
Okay. A Patriots fan coming in with something. I don't know. I mean,
it's a scud. I was like,
it's kind of
counterfeit money. Counterfeit money. Let's go with counterfeit money going forward.
Counterfeit green. Counterfeit money. I don't know. Green kind of equals green. I mean, I like counterfeit
green. Counterfeit money.
Okay, cool.
I had a fun time this week.
Me too.
I feel like we need to be in the studio together each week.
Me too.
We doing Thursday next week?
Yes, Thursday. I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot about that. So we're gonna do Thursday next week. We're gonna flip flop it. Taking it deep with Godfrey. We'll be on Friday at 7. And Birds Deep will be next Thursday at 6. Why? Because the Eagles play the Buccaneers later that night. And Wire to Wire will still be at the same time on Wednesday at 8:30 to 10. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Eagles are going up against the GOAT, and that should be interesting.
Yeah, we had to preview that. We can't, and we still have to talk about what happens this week versus Carolina. If we came in Friday, wouldn't we'd be recapping the Bucs game?
Yeah, can't do that. So we're gonna switch it up for you, and yeah, that's it. And every week I'm gonna try to give you some a tight Eagles hat. So might see a different.
I like that. I might hop on that train.
Yeah, I try to get the ones that are limited edition. So there you go, old school Eagle.
So we're taking it deep, birds deep. Any final comments?
I would love Mike to play with our bird logo. That'd be cool. If he takes that Birds Deep, that'd be awesome.
Mike's done a phenomenal job with
we're gonna have a great intro, even better than the one we already have. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. You got anything else to add?
No, sir.
That is it for this week. The Birds have gone deep and watch the game. If you want to tweet at us, get at us, talk to us about the game while the game's going on, throw some comments at us, or bring up a thought that you want us to bring to the show next week. I'm TheGodfrey on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Gene, how can they find you on the social media and interwebs?
Gene Walczak, GeneWalczak. Send it to me or Wire to Wire. Our sports page is lit. We have a ton of comments on it, a ton of posts. So either one, Wire to Wire Sports Podcast is another one. Or call me. I don't care. I got my cell phone number out.
Mean Gene Green.
Mean Gene. And we're out.
See ya.